global digital transformation. For partners such as Germany and India, the strategic priority is not longer solely the development of artificial intelligence, but very much its responsible and effective deployment. And particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises, which in Germany and in India and other countries, these are the backbones of our economies. Access to skills, innovation, ecosystems, and trusted partnerships will determine whether AI becomes a driver of opportunity for all. Today's panel will explore how cooperation amongst governments, industry, academia, and development partners can address these challenges and shape a future of work that is innovative, inclusive, and human-centered. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished panelists. We are deeply honored by the presence of Dr. Bärbel Kofler, Parliamentary State Secretary to the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, whose leadership underscores Germany's strong commitment to international cooperation and sustainable development. Ms. Kofler, please come up. There's no signs. You can choose in the middle. Sure. Next panelist, I would really warmly welcome Mr. Govind Jaswal, Joint Secretary at the Ministry of Education of the Government of India. He plays a very pivotal role in advancing higher education and skills development here in India. Please. Also, it's my great pleasure to welcome Jan Noether, the Director General of the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, reflecting the strength of Indo-German economic and business cooperation. Please. Yeah. And a welcome to Dr. August G.S. Azaria, Chairman of the South India Human Resources Committee as ASSOCHAM, bringing extensive expertise on workforce transformation and the future of work.
Thank you.
Great. Welcome. And we are also pleased to welcome Arthur Rupp, Director of the German Center for Research and Innovation, whose work strengthens international collaboration in science and innovation. And today's discussion will be moderated by Dr. Kusumita Arora, Director of Indo-German Science and Technology Center, whom we are grateful for guiding this important conversation. Please.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you to GIZ for this very special and important session. We have been hearing, I think, about all aspects of AI in the last few days. And today, closer? Okay. Okay, I will wait 1 minute. So this session, we want to talk about people in the age of AI and what partnerships are going to look like for talent, which is going to drive the innovation, and also completely the future of work as we know now. where this a forum where we are going to discuss policy intent, what is required for skilling, for startup needs, for infrastructure, and other pragmatic issues which are going to drive the conversation ahead. And this includes and always have to include the people, personal growth, their dreams, and their particular circumstances through which they will connect to AI and to each other. So I would request all our panelists for their comments on the different issues. To Dr. Barbara Kofler, I will ask you to just explain your views of how development, cooperation, public policy support between AI partnerships in industry, academia, as well as technology providers, how will this drive productivity and drive jobs? Because people are scared of the jobs.
Well, you're quite right. Also, with your last remark, thank you for the question, and good morning, everybody. Start with that. Good morning, everybody, to all of you. Yes, people get afraid of that there might be a loss of jobs. And it's also an issue then, and maybe we come later to that issue also, on how decent the work jobs are they can require. I think we have to take those feelings very carefully, because there's reason for that. I think we dive a little bit deeper in that in the next round. What we are doing, and I will start a little bit with a general remark. What we are doing is, first thing is, with our cooperation, we try to be a reliable partner in a very uncertain world. We all know how power shifts around the globe are taking place, how the international order is redrawn somehow. And I think what we need, especially if it's coming to technological transformation, which is really having a big impact on everybody's life, we need to make sure that that technology, included in all the other changes which are going on the planet, is really there for serving people, serving those who are in the workforces, serving enterprises, serving not only big enterprises, but, as we are jointly thinking, India, Germany, small, medium-sized enterprises. Because only if we do that, if we overcome that power gap, which is still existing, the full possibility of new technology can be spread and can be used by everybody. And I think that's the aim and the goal of my ministry, and that's the aim of the goal of the German government, to make the new technology being applicable, useful for everybody. And I think we are very aligned with that with the Indian government. So I'm very happy that colleague Joint Secretary is here on the panel with us. Because at the end of the day, we are discussing about open source, open data. We are discussing about computing possibilities, about how we can make that all more climate friendly, reducing the costs of energy, reducing environmental impact, the use of water, for example, which is necessary for all those computing things there. So there are a lot of things we have to regulate, I would say, in the overall governmental framework, to make it then being applicable in a very positive way for the people, for their companies. One concrete example of what we are doing is, I've just coming back from Mumbai, where I also met Mr. Newton, and where we were opening AI living lab at University Ratan Tata University at Mumbai. What is it all about? At the end of the day, it's about making the new technology being part of a curricula of a university, offering students the chance to get close to that, but not doing that in something artificially made up, doing it with concrete working examples from small, medium enterprises, who get the advantage then to have access to AI, which is also not always there. So bring those two groups who normally don't have so much access as a creator of AI, but sometimes you may use it. You have ChatGPT on your mobile, but not really as a creator and as somebody who is inventing then the solutions which are needed in business, which are needed also for social interaction. Bring that together. That's something we are doing as government, and I think that's something we can talk a little bit more about it later on, but that's something we want to foster in a global cooperation. And in an overall momentum, we really strive to close the power gap. I was talking in another panel about the chances on getting access to computing data centers. That's totally different in the global north and in the global south. The access to venture capital. There are so many things surrounding the setting. But also then at the end of the day, how are the regulations on decent work, for example? So people are suffering from that or are really participating. So those things are the overall topics we have to solve in government.
Thank you. I will move to Shri Jaishwal, Joint Secretary. I think many universities, departments are already starting AI courses or some centers or departments. So how do we plan to have higher education and vocational training systems orient to or reorient to work closely, not only on the courses, but along with industry and innovation ecosystem so that workers, the graduates who are coming out of these systems are prepared for AI-enabled workplaces, because having the talent pool is one of the priority areas nowadays.
Thank you. I'll start with some context of the first question, then I will link how are we preparing. Most of the time it has been asked about this afraid about the introduction of new technology. I'll give one example because there are many persons who might be interested into AI as a layman and they may not be aware. Any technology, whenever it comes, it creates disruption in the ecosystem. I'll give one example. When electricity was introduced, discovered long time back, you just imagine one person who was manually doing the work of a fan for some elite or some rich person. When the electricity was introduced, the same kind of question might have arisen whether he will lose his job or not. But what happened? The electricity, when it was reduced, the consequence of that fan, fridge, the vehicle, everything, the electronic batteries, everything came into existence. But what technology does, if it has been used effectively, it ensures the person who never thought that he will have access to a fan and he will get fan which he is doing manually, after one or two centuries he might be using the same thing. The quality of life, especially marginal people, increases with any technology. What is the role of government and the industry to ensure that when the transition takes place, they are effectively and efficiently trained for new skills and a new job role? I am 100% sure a person who was doing that kind of job few centuries ago, after few decades, he might be doing better job and the new kind of thing. That's the challenge actually. And when you said about the university and the ecosystem and the introduction of vocational training and the introduction of AI courses, we are keeping that in the mind because the transition which took place in one century, that centuries ago, will take in few decades. So that transition, it has to be very seamless. So no one is adversely affected. And any technology is emotional agnostic. It will not go with the emotion. It go with the hardcore reality. So in government of India is already taking many steps to ensure that everyone is being trained about the new skills, including AI. And in the last 6-7 years, it has been introduced after the new education policy 2020, where we have enabled all the university ecosystem, especially humanities also, to include 50% courses, especially for the skill courses. And it's a very, very organized and very, very structured way that we are moving in last 5 to 8 years, and especially in last 1 decade. We introduced national education policy where focus on skill courses. We started 6 new research park in the premier institution, especially in IITs. Before 2014, it was 3. So now it is 9. We are still going for another 9. So, and all the courses of the civil engineering, mechanical engineering, we have introduced a certain component where the students who are getting through they are also equally trained with AI. If you see about the industry academia collaboration, the recent budget also, where it was announced 5 educational city, the core word was it should be near to the industrial corridor. It is so curated, and if you go for the last 10 years, it is so organized way that every student of this country is getting equipped with artificial intelligence. Not only this, either it is semiconductor, it is quantum theory, everything we are trying to train our human resources equally. As we are also in negotiation, and we are already having some cooperation with our German government for the introduction of AI courses, and it has been launched also in some of our portal. Slowly we'll embed everything. What I suggest with the industry academia collaboration, most of the time was confined with the curriculum thing. We are going ahead and we are requesting not only to involve for the curriculum. They should be involved for the entrance. They should be involved for the assessment. They should be involved for the practical training as much as possible. Last month I was in Germany, actually Stuttgart and Munich. I have seen the dual education system, very influential, very effective way. And we are also going aggressively to ensure that every student gets industry exposure. Internship was made mandatory. Apprenticeship embedded degree program was launched. Entire education landscape is changing drastically. We have series of activity that we are doing, and I'm very much sure that students, especially in higher education, we have around 40 million students enrolled, and they will be equipped, and they are equipped. In the coming year, we will lead into AI sector also. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very encouraging, very hopeful. Mr. Azaria, from the point of view of the Indian industry, what would be your comments as to what kind of partnership or collaboration models already exist? And how do you see the students coming into the young workforce and turning AI innovation into real, productivity improvements and improvements for companies, for the bottom line, as well as for sustainability?
Thank you very much. Truly delighted to be here this morning. Quick commercial about me and my company, all right? I work for Kyndryl, which is an IBM spinoff, and we're in the space of infrastructure management, which means that most of the transactions that you're doing, banking to airline to various other things, are powered by our technology. That's my day job. I also serve as the HR leader for South for ASOCHAM, and that's the Industry Connect. Now, coming to your question, as I was riding in, and my cab driver, I chatted up with him and asked him, what is it about this AI conference? AI, sir? AI means all Indian. Wonderfully put. Not to take the credit away from other countries, but you see at that level, the penetration and the hope that AI sovereignty could happen right here where we are sitting. So that is from that level. Now, the other one I wanted to tell you is the industry academia collaboration. And as a HR leader, the first thing I see is that there is some chaos and confusion among the laterals as well as the freshers. When you go to campus to hire, you don't find real AI skills except that you see the CV developed by ChatGPT. And when I read through that verbosity, I know very well this is system generated, this is AI generated. And I tell them, look, we need some levels of originality. You get your ChatGPT or whatever Gen AI system wants to generate your stuff, but I want your involvement. So which means that the human element that we want to put here is to oversee what is actually being generated by generative AI. The other requirement from the freshers is that college freshers we're talking about is not just an awareness of what's Gen AI, they know that, but for them to know certain productivity tools like Copilot, okay? To use Copilot to develop small applications or, have AI agents running. That's the level, and I would say that's pretty basic. Is it available today for the industry? The answer is not as much as it should be. Why? Because the faculty are not trained to impart that level of AI awareness. And therefore, we saw this gap and we said, hey, look, let us address this gap and go into colleges. The industry goes into colleges with partnerships with large AI companies, call it NVIDIA, call it Google, call it IBM, call it Kyndryl, and we go beyond the guest lecture. We start with making it competitive to them, all right? And telling the faculty and certifying them. Recently, in a hackathon with about 18,000 people in the southern city of Mangaluru, there were more than 18,000 students. And during that time, we got more than 1,000 faculty certified in Copilot. And I would say that our target is to go into the hundreds and thousands and millions for faculty to be trained, and also to provide faculty an endowment fund so that they can innovate and they can come up with models and patents that they can file. And I suppose that is where we have a big gap. And if we are able to do it, we are going to the hinterlands, tier 2, tier 3 cities in India. And that's where the talent lies. And AI, while you can call it all India, it's also about unlocking talent. The talent that is available in tier 2 and tier 3 cities is so humongous. I will just take 30 seconds and tell you. When we did a hiring, we did what is called a blind selection. And in that blind selection of 10 people who were shortlisted or finalized for a job that was paying close to 30 lakhs per annum, which is for freshers. 4 of them were IITs. 3 of them were tier 2, tier 1. The rest were all tier 2 and 3. What does this tell me? This tells me that the talent doesn't just stay in our top tier institutes. It's also so common and it's socialized right across the spectrum. And that, my dear friends, is the challenge that we have, the opportunity that we have. And I think today it's about making sure that they unlearn the past and learn about how to cope with AI for the future. Thank you.
That is real wonderful to know. I mean, this is an example or demonstration of how industry is really engaging with academia and engaging on a long-term basis, at least a medium-term basis, and I'm sure this is going to yield results at the pace that industry and academia is looking at. Mr. Jan, can you please tell us where you see the strongest potential for cooperation in AI? And this translates directly into productivity, into gains, economic growth.
Glad to do so. Yeah. Now, of course, we need to bring people together. We yesterday had a tour, around our German pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's amazing what's going on in Germany as well when it comes to AI. Yeah. So all India is great, but AI does not know any borders. Yeah, and we need to bring people together. Now, when we talk about application, looking at India, the first thing which comes to my mind is healthcare. Since if you look into a let's say analysis of these millions and millions of records of we have of healthcare data, if we look into disease management, if we look into remote access to patients via AI systems, that is going to be the future, not only in India, that's going to be the future, I mean, across the world. Agriculture, digital imaging, satellite imaging, and water is unfortunately not only used to cool systems. Water is the scarcest raw material, if you want to, on our planet in the years to come. How do we use that in a meaningful way, and how do we protect this resource, and how do we look at the agricultural development in certain areas? So all of that could be done. Energy sustainability, very, very important. AI will play a very crucial role in that segment, as does in the skills development, remote learning. We do have, and Joint Secretary, I'm very happy to share with you, you were in Stuttgart, which is fantastic. We just signed an agreement with a dual University of Baden-Württemberg on a master's program, where like 2/3 is going to be handled in India, 1/3 is going to be handled in Germany. But these are the concepts of the future. So if you ask me where to apply, it's across the board. It's across the board.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Rapp, as a representative of DAAD, which has been supporting academic research for decades, what would be your comments as to how our programs would, on research, would integrate AI skills, new directions in AI, right from maybe schools and greater into universities, and in fact lifelong learning, to equip learners with skills, the critical thinking, to use AI for their personal users, as well as to drive the economy. What would be the role in this direction?
Thank you for this question. Good morning, everyone. You mentioned now so many points. I think I could speak for 1 hour, which of course I will not do. So first of all, please also allow me to introduce or advertise our institution as well. So we are the biggest student and academic staff mobility organization worldwide. We have been active in India for many decades, as you have said. So our office actually just celebrated 65 years of existence here in India, in New Delhi, and we have several offices across the country. So before coming here today, I did consult 2 publications that were published recently on this entire topic of how is AI being used in universities, where are we standing right now. So the first publication, it came out actually about 2 weeks ago, so that's quite fresh, or 3 weeks ago, and it's called AI Use in Higher Education and Teaching, a review based on empirical studies in Germany. So first I would like to have a look at Germany. And I will not read this entire page out to you now, but the basic conclusion is students are using AI. They use it, and that's what you just have stated. They use it in many, many cases without actually reflecting. How do I use it? How is the output being generated? So how does the AI come to a certain conclusion? Because the AI does not reveal this process, we don't know that. And that would be highly interesting and highly important for us to actually understand how it gets to this conclusion, right? Academic staff is rather critical. They are skeptical, careful. And so we are right now in the transitional phase because there is a lot of skepticism, but at the same time, institutions do have to develop strategies, and they're already busy doing that. That is something that is happening in India and in Germany as well, of course. And we need to train our academic staff. That's one big goal, one big task. And to do that, of course, we also need to develop special curricula and so on, you know. So the second study, one important point, one very important conclusion was that there is a big risk of dependence on non-European AI platforms, and this is a threat to freedom of research and teaching. Now, this is, of course, very much centered on Europe, but this is also something that, of course, applies to India as well, you know. When we use certain systems and the owners of these systems, they are not in our countries, they are somewhere else. There's people training this AI, you know, so AI is not neutral, it's also biased. This is another interesting aspect, you know. Today, maybe this application is free of charge, so I'm using it. I'm putting my data inside, so at the same time I'm training that. Tomorrow this application might not be available anymore. And then me as a country or me as a company, I will get into trouble, right? Because suddenly I need to pay for something and I can be excluded. The whole aspect of data protection is also mentioned in that study because there is a lot of questions. For example, when people today write a research proposal and they use AI to just to check the spelling, you know, and to make the sentences a bit more polished and so it sounds nicer, right? They don't understand, I think, the impact it has, because where does this data go to? I might have a new great idea, right? This might be a revolution. So it could be that someone has access to this, will extract this information at another end of the world and might use this, might even file a patent, right? So we don't know that, right? So there's also this dimension. So another study, another publication that was published, it's called University Student and Generative AI Imperative. That's about 2 years old already, but I would say it's still important. And what I very much liked about it is that there's basically 3 messages. So I don't know if you would be surprised, but they found out a lot of young people today consult AI on their career choice, on the choice of university, and the subject I'm going to study. So I don't ask anymore maybe my teacher, you know, or my aunt, you know. I consult the AI, and then I take the decision what career I'm going to choose. And then again, not a big surprise, 4 out of 5 people use AI. So this is 2 years ago. I'm sure this number is a lot higher today. And another interesting fact is engineering used to be number 1 among the people asked, and today it's computer science and information systems. So this is where the attention is going now, of course, because people see there is an opportunity, right? This is an interesting career path. So you can see there is a lot of different aspects. And we as an institution, we are of course also quite active. We do offer scholarships, so we support any field. And just about a week ago, we conducted interviews. So we conducted interviews. There was about 100 people participating in these interviews for PhD scholarship and research scholarships in Germany. So the conclusion the professors came to was almost all the applicants used AI. And you can see this was mentioned before, right? By the way it's written, you can see it, okay? And then a lot of people did actually have AI in their research proposal. So it was part of the title. So we see that that change. And this is positive, right? Because we will progress and there will be new opportunities. And just maybe also to draw a little conclusion out of these 2 publications that I mentioned, my personal conclusion is this is a disruptive technology. It's just like when robots were invented and when computers changed our world. You might recall, those who are a bit older will recall, that there was also a lot of fear. There is going to be mass unemployment. We need, as the minister has said, we need to listen to the people. We need to educate people to tell them what AI actually is. AI is not intelligence, at least not at the moment. Okay, this is statistical tools that are predicting an outcome. But we need to listen to these fears, and there is a lot of opportunity for the entire world, which has just been mentioned before, right? When we look at, for example, how we do agriculture, how we do farming, and so on. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have very interesting aspects of AI, what it already means for individuals, for people, and what it's likely to mean in the future. As it has come out, AI is without borders. So a few questions now on what international cooperations are needed and what they will do for AI, for humanity as a whole. I think AI in India and AI, the actual circumstances are a little bit different, but the fundamentals of AI will be very, very potent and very important for all countries and all environments equally. So Dr. Kofler, I'll come to you first to ask that how international cooperation programs should get involved for better integration of AI for skills and innovation initiatives and to ensure an inclusive workforce globally.
Well, maybe I start with an overall topic. I'm just coming from another panel which was about responsible AI. I think we have to get involved in responsibility because, yes, it was said, it's crystal clear, that's not neutral. We have biases in data. We have languages where millions of mother language speakers are excluded because they cannot use it in their language. People who have challenges to read and write are still sometimes excluded. So there are still things we have to overcome to be really inclusive. And as I was pointing out before, it's also in the business sector that way, that there is not the same chance for a small, medium-priced enterprise to be included in using AI or making it available for their purposes than it is for a big company. So what international cooperation should do is to overcome the gaps. We formulated always that there is still a power gap, a gap in being a creator of AI, a gap in using AI in certain parts of the world more than in others. Dependency was talked about before. So we have to overcome those gaps. That's the first thing we have to do in international cooperation. And we have to do it in a meaningful way. So it's really to the purpose of those who are using it, to the purpose of countries, to the purpose of individuals, to companies, and so on. I still think we should have a close look how those new technologies can support internationally agreed ideas like the Sustainable Development Goals, because there's a lot of potential in that technology that could help us to reach those goals. So we should do that in a general way, but we also have to be concrete, because it doesn't really help us if we have conference after conference and there's no concrete outcome on the ground. So we have to make ourselves controllable, I would say, as a government. We have to have commitments also in an international cooperation. We have to stick to those commitments, and we have to report them and discuss them with public, how to develop them further. So that is quite important. It's, by the way, something we try to do with our Hamburg Sustainability, our Declaration on Responsible AI with the Hamburg Sustainability Conference, with concrete commitments by all stakeholders, governments, industry, academia, NGOs, everybody who wants to join that, to come out with very concrete outcomes. There are outcomes in skilling people to be not only users but co-creators. There can be outcomes like we were debating a little bit before, how to bridge academia, industry needs, and the needs of the young generation of students. There are concrete topics we are working on that. I was mentioning the living lab in Mumbai we were launching. That's not my ministry only or government only. It's a cooperation of government. It's academia with University Mumbai and University in Leipzig who is sharing their insights. And there are concrete stakeholders from industry and especially underline small medium enterprises who need access and need workforces who don't have to be trained for years when they left university. They need to come up with solutions immediately when they enter a company. So we have to bridge all those things. And I think a governmental approach has to be also, on the one hand, to set frameworks, to create a reliable setting so people can trust and know what they're doing. Privacy was one of the topics. But on the other hand, we also have to bridge the gaps which are existing in the conversation in between the stakeholders. So yes, I'm always saying I love that with AI and all India, but at the end of the day, it's the whole world. We all have to bridge if we really want to be useful for or make use of that technology. I think that's for me the most important thing for a government.
Thank you. Mr. Jaiswal, would you have some quick comments as to whether there needs to be other avenues of cooperation? Dr. Kofler has already said how cooperation has started between India and Germany for education. Would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, I'll just add one point that AI is primarily is based on the pattern. So when both the country are collaborating, normally they have a different pattern, say depending upon the societal structure, industry maturity, small medium enterprises challenges. So when we collaborate, we try to complement each other, because as long as we'll take to train the entire system and train the entire ecosystem, especially you said about the commitment of stakeholder. That's a core thing if we want to achieve, and we are working on that aspect. Both the country, industry and academia are doing excel in some or other field, and we will definitely collaborate and complement each other aspect. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. We are a little bit running out of time, but just one last question to Mr. Jan. How do you think German and Indian SMEs can better integrate into this effort that is starting in full force, in fact?
Yeah, thank you. That is, I believe, a very central question, since if we look into Germany, 98.5% of the German business setup is SME. And if you look into India, it's similar. And what is important to an SME, it is basically, I have to develop myself into a scenario where I'm efficient, I'm saving costs, I'm innovative. Otherwise, there's a very fierce competition,
Yes.
which makes me very, very vulnerable. Yeah, so if we now bring this long-term experience of these German mid-sized and small companies, and we talk about decades of experiences, if we bring that together with the talent, the spirit, the creativity, and this innovation spirit of the Indian talents, and very important, if we in Germany get used to the speed we have in India, then this is going to be unbeatable project teams. So we need to bring people together, and we need to bring people together across countries. We need to form sandboxes, where young talents of both countries and no borders of European countries and India can really experiment and come up with solutions which is not geared towards one SME but for an industry within the SME sector. That is basically how we need to go forward. German companies are cautious when it comes to spending. And they are not risk takers, so there needs to be a benefit, and they need to see the benefit, whether it's a financial benefit, an operational benefit. They need to see that benefit in order to act. Therefore, I look forward to be a little bit working on the field of integration together, of course, with other entities we'll have in India and in Germany.
Thank you, everybody. And I think we have all come together.
Just make one last observation. Sorry. Here. One last observation. Sorry.
Sure. Okay.
This thought came to me in terms of how do we collaborate and cooperate, and how well the EU has done GDPR, okay, making sure that people have that security. Similarly, there's a lot to learn from Germany in terms of how they improved their vocational training from elementary levels right up to master's and PhD levels. And I think today, like the Honorable Secretary also said, at the school level, we need that level of collaboration to ensure that AI is seeded at the elementary level, if not at the primary level. And my request, of course, is to this eminent panel to enable our educational institutions and provide them the expertise that they can mature in taking this at the elementary level. Thank you.
Yeah. Of course, that would make a world of difference. And I'm sure all the partners here are ready to see conversion of intent to commitment in the very near future. And I wish everybody the best and look forward to the outcomes. Thank you.
I would like to ask Mr. Govind Jeswal and Mrs. Kofler to stay here. And thank you very much for the other panelists for the dice, and good luck, and wish you a good summit. So, because Mr. Azaria asked for follow-up, and we will do a follow-up, we now turn to an important initiative that exemplifies the next phase of German-Indian cooperation in the field of artificial intelligence, the AI Academia Industry Innovation Partnerships in Asia, commissioned by BMZ and implemented through GIZ. This exactly addresses the widening gap between widening demand for AI skills and the need for job-ready talent. We learned about the living labs. This will be all included, combining students, researchers, industry experts to co-create and test AI solutions in a real-world setting. So this is all about, and it's just my honor to ask to invite Bärbel Kofler to deliver her remarks on this initiative, and followed by Mr. Jeswal's remarks. Please, just from here. No,
sit or stand, or
you can stand also.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I do it. It's a little bit more dynamic than at the end of the day. And I'm very brief because there was said a lot about the necessity of cooperation, especially on the training sector and the training field. What we all know is we were talking about workplaces of the future. And we know there is a chance in create also new jobs through new technologies. You were mentioning that also. There's a World Bank study about, or is it World Trade Organization, I think, the study about already the job creation is 1.3 million, but we don't have really enough skilled workforces for that sphere. So there are almost 1 million job opportunities not really filled in with adequate people, which at the end of the day leads to personal loss, economic loss, and we want to bridge those things. That's why we are creating this academic approach together. We want to bridge that and offer those job opportunities which are already there on the ground to people around the globe. And that initiative should be a part of that. And that's why we're really happy. And I always have to read the title. That we launched this project of Artificial Intelligence Academia Industry Innovation Partnership in Asia. It's through my ministry, together with Indian partners and partners in Vietnam. And I'm very happy that we can do that today.
Good.
Thank you. Actually, when we started the collaboration for this project, and when we got to know about this innovation, this living lab actually. So the name is very interesting. The lab which where you incubate your idea and create a prototype. A living means it has should be all the uh, attributes of a life. So I hope it will able to solve the problem of the industry and academia, and uh, it's about bringing the academic world to the closer to industry and industry closer to academic world, and academic training to just commensurate with the requirement of industry. That is the major objective, and I convey my wishes for this project. I'm very much sure it will achieve its objective and will have further collaboration in the future also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now we invite you to watch a brief video representing presenting the initiative. You can just.
Because I have to go to the next panel.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
AI and digital technologies are reshaping how businesses operate faster than ever before. For companies, the challenge is no longer access to technology, but access to people. People with the skills to adapt, innovate, and work confidently with AI. What is taught today is often no longer what industry needs tomorrow, especially for German SMEs expanding into global and Asian markets. At the same time, Asia is emerging as a powerful driver of growth, dynamic economies, new ideas, and a rising generation of digital talent ready to engage with the world. This is where German development cooperation, implemented by GIZ, brings together German and Asian universities, businesses, and governments in a new AI academia industry innovation partnership. The question is simple: how do we develop AI ready skills, support innovation, and grow across borders? The answer lies in learning and innovation spaces, living labs. Living labs are structured learning and innovation spaces where universities and companies collaborate on real industry driven challenges. Students work on real business problems. Companies test ideas, innovate, and access emerging talent in a low-risk environment. Faculty strengthen curricula through direct engagement with industry. And institutions build long-term, meaningful partnerships. For students, this means hands-on experience, global collaboration, and improved employability. For businesses, it means access to future-ready talent, fresh perspectives, a vibrant AI ecosystem, and a testing ground for innovation. More than a program, this is a partnership at eye level, combining German expertise with Asian entrepreneurial energy and drive to innovate. This is the AI Innovation Partnership, uniting academia, industry, and governments across Germany and Asia to shape what's next. Developing skills, enabling innovation, building an AI-driven future together.